Cygna is a debuffing dancer, and let me tell you, she is good at it. She can greatly increase your damage and help decrease your damage taken as well a nice bit. She gets better the more buff icons the enemy has. 6 for her first level of buffs, 12 for her second level. The extra levels means more debuffs and extra damage or hits and stuff like that. All the buffing and debuffing Cygna can do is 15% defense and regen up, single target BP regen, 15% sword fire and late resistance down, 15% attack and defense down, 15% resistance down, blind and paralysis, and 10 to 20% alt attack and defense down. She can also do an AoE 6-hit light that hits fire, a single target 6-hit fan, and a 900 power light that hits fire nuke. Her support skills also debuff, but they're a little bit boring. Her first support skill is when she's in the front row, the enemy gets 5% passive defense down. Her second is when she's in the back, 5% attack down. And her TP support skill is when she's above half SP, 5% passive speed and crit down. Her support skills just add debuff icons. That alone gives the enemy 4 icons, and if you add Haunted for example, it becomes much easier to get 12 icons. Haunted especially works amazing with Cygna. Not only can she give a bunch of debuff icons and help cap her debuffs, but she can also help extend her ultimate debuff. Cygna's ultimate is super strong. Alt buffs and debuffs increase their damage quite a bit, so it's highly recommended if you can get her ultimate to level 10. If you can't, it's not a bad thing, you'll be fine, but 2 uses and 1 max boost charge is just really useful, plus the additional turn. That with Kurtz's accessory means you get 4 turns of it, which is awesome. Cygna is basically your main use for that accessory. Like I mentioned before, Cygna isn't just a great support, but also a great breaker. She has an AoE 4-hit light that hits fire and gains an extra hit or 2 on enemies with 6 or 12 icons. Same with her 2-4 or 6-hit single target fan. And lastly, despite not having any light damage up or damage cap up, she has a 450 nuke that gets 1.5 times or 2 times power up on enemies with enough icons. It's nice additional damage coming out of a support, but with no damage cap up, not even from hitting 6 stars yet, she doesn't actually get very far with that high power hit. Which, yeah, she doesn't have her 6 stars yet. She's still good without it, so it can only be up from here. I just have no idea what they'll give her for her upgrade or her EX skill. I'm really looking forward to it though. It's gonna be awesome. Besides that, the only other thing I'd like to mention is that with Bargello now you can use a full dancer team with Cygna as your healer. The regen that Bargello applies can be good, but if you need full regen, Cygna can fill in the other half. Plus give defense up with it. She can also give BP regen to Bargello to help him max boost more often, meaning more fan hits. She has BP regen to actually pair with Xanthos because BP regen can help him do double 5 BP boosts on break. A lot of her kit is actually meant to complement him. Speaking of Xanthos, no overview for him because I don't have him. Let me show you a quick damage comparison with and without our ultimate. This is with 30% defense down and attack up and 30% resistance down and damage up on both sides, but one has 20% alt defense down as well. Yeah, it really makes a big difference in the damage you deal, honestly. There's not much more I can say, honestly, just that to summarize, Cygna is just a super good debuffer who can increase your damage so much by giving so many different debuffs. She's useful in many different fights and pairs with many different characters. She is especially useful for her ultimate to the point where you kind of want her at ultimate level 10 really badly. And my pull recommendation is, as always, if you can't afford them, then don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. This game is honestly very balanced, but if you can afford it, I'd highly recommend pulling for Cygna. She just helps you do so much more damage. The only thing she doesn't have is damage cap up to help with that extra damage. I think I just found out what our 6-star upgrade should be. Damage cap up, but in a debuff form to make enemies getting hit have a higher damage cap as an EX skill. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped you decide on if you want to pull on Cygna or not. Always remember that in the end, it's your choice, and whether you pull or not is perfectly fine. Just have fun and don't worry about the meta too much. If you thought this was a good video and you want to see more overviews in the future, you can subscribe to let YouTube know you want to see them. And you can see both my channels here on the left and my last video before this one on the right. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.